Like, you know, when I used to rap, like, we were me and my peers were the generation that was looking up to you guys as the guys before us. But way beyond the time I retired and stepped down, it's like I'm still doing music. And the weird thing is, you're actually appealing to people who are even younger than the people we had as fans. So I was like, how does this guy evolve from like audience to audience to audience? Like, how do you keep that relevance going? Like, is it like even a deliberate step?
Yeah, I think I sort of discovered that I'm evolving a short while ago. Of course, I love music, so I just keep doing it. But one of the things is funny. One of the things that actually keeps me, I think, relevant is the fact that I listen to young people. So if you ask me what music am I listening to, I'm listening to the new young guys. So even
What
the Zambians. So I'm listening to 1K Few, Gavi, who's also evolved over time.
Yeah.
I'm listening to people that like, what's her name? This girl. Okay, a lot of Rich Records artists though.
Are you listening to
one
any
day,
Zambian
One day,
artists?
I'm getting there. So I'm listening to 1K Few, One Day, Gavi. I'm listening to those guys. There's an artist that I follow. I can't remember his name, but he's a rapper from the US. He's an independent artist. Now I've forgotten his name. Zambian, I'm listening to Solomon Plate. I'm listening to Keisha. I'm listening to Microphone 7.
Yeah.
And my favorite artist, Zambia right now, Legend Son. I'm listening to Legend Son. He doesn't
That's
even
your
know.
favorite artist.
He doesn't know. He doesn't even know it. Maybe after this, now he's going to find out. Like, yeah, that's what's happened. But
I didn't even know that.
I'm listening to these guys because they are relevant. They are new. They're fresh. But I learn a lot about what's current because I'm listening to that.
Have you ever felt like your older fans felt like Geo is changing and we don't?
Definitely. I think the older fans felt like I'm abandoning them because my sound also started changing.
Yeah.
The way we used to speak the gospel in our music way back was a bit different from now. I think back then it was very explicit.
Yeah.
And my music is still sort of that, but I think I've tried to be a bit vague in my message, which is not such a bad thing.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel like you're one of the only guys who are still spitting that content.
Here's what I believe. There's a message for every day. There's a message for every season, for every situation.
Yeah.
So when you listen to my Ready Go EP, there's songs that just talk about the gospel as it is. When you listen to a song like In My DM, which is on my album, it's also a single, you don't necessarily hear Jesus, but you hear Christian principles. So I'm trying to make a message that's going to be relevant in the ears of someone who needs to hear the gospel, but also in the ears of someone who needs to just hear about the situation. They have no hope in a situation. I have a message for that. They have like a struggle with purity. I have a message for that. So I think, the older fans may feel like that, like I've been changing over time, but that's what's necessary if you're not going to be phased out. So I listen to the younger guys so that I know what's relevant. I listen to a lot of that music, but I also listen to a lot of African music because I just, even whether it's old or new, I listen to that because I want my sound to still be current. Not just because I'm following a hip-hop genre, but even music outside that. For the fact that I'm a producer, I think it's a must to listen to different stuff. So,
yeah. But like the fact that you've been around for a while, you probably were starting things with people like Mag 44, maybe people like Pompey today, and then these guys sort of have careers which have blown beyond Zambia to even outside Zambia. So how does that like translate for you, like looking at like you've been around for as long as they have, but they seem to have more, I won't say tangible results, but more publicly or mainstream results, so to say.
I remember there was a time when Mark 44, when he joined Praise Kitchen Center years back, before he even started his solo music career, he was like, these guys told me about you. They told me the history of how events used to happen. Then he was giving me respect then. I was like, cool. Then, he started out, we all started out, we're doing our thing. But for me, one of the most important things is defining success.
Yeah.
Because when you know what success is, you know whether you're failing or not. So for me, success is the fact that I am getting response from people because I'm touching them with my music and with my ministry. Because what I do, of course, goes beyond music.
Yeah.
So seeing Mac 44, Pompey, Abel get that successful, and even in other countries are called for shows, it makes me, sometimes I feel like
do you ever
affected, like I want that.
feel neglected? Like, we started out, shouldn't you guys be helping
neglected
me
by
more?
them? No.
Don't you feel like
I think the reason I don't
yeah.
feel neglected by them is because we do work together on projects that are not necessarily in the music
Yeah.
production process and release. We don't really do that together. But for instance, Mac 44 got me on board to be assistant music director for the Zambezi Music Awards. That was big.
Yeah.
Pompey got me to be sound engineer for every show that he was doing locally. This I've done for the past year and a half. I've done at least 90% of the show. So they include me in that. So we are working together. So because we have that association, I don't really feel like I'm neglected, and I don't feel they owe me anything.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, they have their own success, their own careers, and that's the way it is. So I feel like I need to learn to be content, and that's one thing I've been trying to do for the past years. How to be content with.
So
where I
how
am.
do you mentally process it? Like, when
It's
the
not hard,
temptation shows up, like, but
It's never been too difficult because as a young man,
what's the thought? What's the statement
my thought is
that,
this. Okay,
that comes to mind?
for instance, when I see certain people nominated, for instance, I dropped my album on the same day as Solomon played, but he got nominations and I didn't. So, both our marketing strategies were strong. We both had CDs. We both have very good songs.
I remember you selling them at the same time.
Yeah. So he got nominated, I didn't, and at that point, what I'm thinking now is, but I've worked hard also. And then how I now fight it back is, remember, how many people have I been reaching? And as a kid, my discipleship process was like this. Success is when you impact lives. So I'm asking myself, am I impacting lives? Yes. So that is how I fight.
So you don't equate recognition to success. So
No. That's the temptation. Yeah. The temptation is, the more people recognize you, the more successful you think you are. But it's not like that. And sometimes, it's natural. We want to be recognized. And I tend to feel like that. And I have to keep on going back to my notes. No, that's not how I'm going to rate my success.
Yeah.
And the fact that I run a website, I think there's been many conversations we've had, with people who run websites, and where you are small, a website, you're starting out, and these people that are big do not recognize your website even though you host their music.
Yeah.
So what that did to us is, it hurt us. But I think what that did, apart from hurting us as website owners, is we got used to the fact that we were rejected or we were not recognized by big artists because we're smaller websites.
Yeah.
So we sort of built an immune to that, like, you know what? It's okay. We'll keep grinding. We'll do our thing.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal. So I think being hurt in that way taught me to learn how to not take things personal.
That's an interesting point. So experiencing the pain kind of helps you mature in that direction.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay, one question I've had, which most people would ask, especially those who knew you from way back, is, what happened to Slice?
What happened to Slice? The bread finished. Simple. Everyone goes through a different phase in life, and our Zambian culture also influenced the fact that we couldn't go on as usual. What I mean is, when people grow, you'd be like, yo, dancing is for kids. So some people needed to fall off. Yeah. Also, some people's bodies just changed with time. So it just looked odd, being on stage and dancing. Life caught up with some people. They're working here and there. We're in different careers, so we couldn't really hold it together. Yeah. And it just reached a point where the momentum was just slowing down. It was slowing down. But what I thank God for is that most of the people who passed through the group are still saved. Yeah. So what happened is, time, careers, culture, all that stuff happened. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's life.
Is there a chance of Slice?
Is there a chance? We did a comeback once. I think that was maybe 2013 or 14. We did one performance at the show. Since everyone is now, still in contact.
Yeah.
There is a possibility of that. People can still dance. It's
Yeah.
not like we can't dance anymore. So yeah, there is a possibility.
Okay. One thing besides Slice, which obviously pushed people's career, into the forefront, as solo artists, there was obviously Olivia was like the biggest
Yeah.
of the group.
Yeah.
There was a bit of Boniface also trying to do a solo career,
Yeah.
and then which other people can I remember? There's you,
Wongani
obviously.
was a producer. There's me. Yeah.
Then you've also helped people like Esther, M7, Natasha. So there've been cases like Beats and Kings and stuff like that, where you sort of try to push other people.
Yeah.
Like, what's the drive behind that?
Okay. Now, one thing about me that people maybe don't realize is this: I love to support people. I love to help artists. So when Slice was there, just transitioning from dancing to music, we did Go Hard 1, Go Hard 2, which is a total of like 33 to 34 songs on 2 projects. And I was just making collaborations. After that, I did Beats and Kings, which was collaborations. I produced music for different people, which is another form of collaboration. I did the Natives website, which is just helping people to get their music out there. That's my heart.
Yeah.
So I've done all that I've done, written all the songs that I've written, because that is my heart. And that's one of the ways that I fight the urge to want to be famous. I've once had this conversation with someone where I said, like, I'm glad I don't know how to sing, because if I did, I would write so many songs for myself. So you know, that's it. So the heart there is, I just love to support people. That's my heart. I'm a leader, and that's my gifting is leadership. And supporting people is what I think I'm called to do. So that's the heart behind all that.
So you recently dropped Before I Begin, which is your debut album. So it gives the impression that you're about to begin, and then you just dropped an EP, Sounds of Q.
Yeah.
Is this you beginning, or is there like another intended?
It's funny. I've been doing whatever I'm doing for quite a while, and it's like now, it's like God was taking me through a transition to begin a new phase in my life, a new chapter in ministry. So just before we had the current, let me call it the quarantine season, I had announced even a worship tour.
Oh yeah.
And it's all part of where I am now. So the new phase is pretty much starting to walk in my gift as a music artist, because I think I've sat on my gifting for a while, not believed in myself for a while. So it's like God really just opening my eyes and saying, this is what I've called you for. So Before I Begin is like the chapter 1 of a new phase in ministry, and this is now being backed up by prayer, consistent prayer every week, and just listening to what God is saying. So
in essence, you're saying you've actually already begun.
I have now begun what I'm supposed to be doing. It's really walking in my purpose as a musician, as a leader. So even Sounds of Q, when that happened, which is after the album, it's just impressions that I had on my heart as I'm just locked in the house. But I feel people need to hear that message, and there's going to be a lot more. So I've got a new, fresh energy for music, which I don't know. It's a blessing. So yeah.
One thing that's been prominent in your stuff or content is purity.
Yeah.
Sexual purity, to be specific, like Last Fight,
in my DMs, integrity, toxic.
Like integrity was like
yeah.
That was crazy. So like, what's the perception that you have of purity in the Christian, to begin with, in the Christian community right now? Well, what's your perception?
My perception? Well, it's no longer it's no longer weird when Christians compromise. It's no longer weird when Christians indulge in fornication. Let me not just say Christians. It's no longer weird even when Christian leaders are compromising, and that bothers me a lot. And I've had my own struggles with purity, and thank God I've not even fallen into things like fornication or alcohol abuse, but I've had struggles also with purity in terms of like the stuff you look at needs to be pure, and so that has been one area where I've had challenges growing up, and thank God it didn't get so extreme. But
so before we, how often do you get feedback concerning this subject?
all the time.
How many times do people say your song assisted me?
I've now lost count. I have my phone, I backed it up though, but I have screenshots of a lot of people giving me feedback. Like songs like in my DM, which I thought was just, when I did in my DM, by the way, it was just like, I've gotten my new software, I use Reason 10, just learning it, just, cool song, then, just do it, but the impact.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. I think...
What kind of things do people say?
Okay, so the kind of things people say, people talk about how they've been struggling with sex outside marriage, struggling with pornography, struggling with some people just say I'm struggling sexually and I'm really trying to fight this. So even when the last fight came out, I got the same feedback, and this is from men, women, girls, boys.
Yeah.
So these are discussions that I had around the music. So I'm getting feedback all the time. It's crazy. I didn't think it would be this serious. Yeah.
So Sounds of Q, like, what was the overall time frame that you created?
So I created Sounds of Q so Sounds of Q has got 3 interludes and 4 songs. I did the 4 songs in 3 days. So within 24 hours, I did 3 songs. Then the 4th song, I wrote it on the 2nd day and recorded it on the 3rd day. So every song was like, when I start, I make the beat, write it, record it, mix, master. Next song, same thing, mix, master. Next song.
So what was the process for? Is it First Love?
First Love. Oh, yeah.
Because that's like I don't know if it's a remake or a
First Love is a
remastered version of
remake.
Rewind.
We did First Love 9 years ago, features Tasha. That was the last song I did. I love that song. So I was going through all my old files, found it. I was like, I need to do a song on this, and really, because God is also calling me to my first love with Him. That's what I'm getting back to. So that's how I did that song. So I just wrote it 2 days before the release of the EP and recorded it, and that was it. Okay. So I just got my old files and just made the drums feel more alive and stuff like that. Few keys here and there, rearranged the song. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a new song dropping. What should people expect? Okay,
so one of the things that I believe that I need to do, which I haven't really done, if you listen to all my EP's album, you find the features are very few. So I'm going to be doing a few more features. So the song that's coming out is going to be one. I'm featuring 2 artists who are my friends, but they're not Zambian.
Okay.
They're rap artists from another region. Oh, same region, different country.
Okay, I think I have ideas already.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and I'll be doing a bit more collaborations. There's another collaboration I'm working on with an artist from the Copper Belt. So that will be coming out soon.
So for people who don't even know anything about you, where can they find you, like social media wise and stuff?
All right, so social media, Twitter, Facebook. I've stopped using Instagram. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, it's Gio Musiwa. Or you can just even just write Gio Musiwa, download music. You'll find me on thenatives.com. Then you can also find me at Deezer, Apple, Spotify. Where else do people get music? All online platforms. You can, to easily find me, just search for Gio Musiwa. Before I begin, you find the album, you find more music. Reason I'm not on Instagram is because Instagram has perfect people. And the problem with those perfect people is they're not well dressed. And for me, I'm trying to be pure. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. So I don't care.
So I like for good.
Yeah, I'm done. If I go back on Instagram, I'll need someone to handle it for me, and I'll tell them what to post.
Okay, so guys, Gio is off Instagram. Gio is off Instagram. So in terms of like videos, like you've not done much. When can people expect a video from you?
Honestly, I haven't been serious. I've got like 5 people who are supposed to do videos for me, and the reason those 5 people haven't done those videos for me is not because they haven't called me, it's because I haven't called them. So I'm hoping to have, since I really want this music to reach out to people, I'm supposed to do 5 music videos.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can do at least the first 4 in the next 30 days. So by end of April, I'm sure I'll have the first one done, I mean, I'll probably record 2, but by end of May I should have 4 music videos. But in April I think we'll have 1.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Cool stuff. All right, thank you for your time. It's been nice chatting and just bringing out some things people might not be aware of.
Yeah.
So is there anything you would like to conclude with, like your last words?
Yeah, my last word will be this. To anyone who is an artist or not an artist, I think just find yourself in God. I think the most important relationship is our relationship with God. Mm-hmm. So find yourself in God and be content with who He's made you to be, especially when you find out who you really are in Him. Many of us are searching for identity in different things. It's money, it's our jobs, it's friendships, it's relationships. Mm-hmm. But everyone comes to a point where they really feel like I'm empty.
Yeah.
And I think that emptiness is filled when we have a fixed relationship with God. So those are my last words. So get my music everywhere. That's what's up.